What is depression? Those of y'all that are new to this channel, my name is Andre Daphne. This is a section I like to call Talk to Dre. And today we'll be discussing numerous topics. One of the few topics that I think we need to go ahead and get off is depression. Now, when I say numerous topics, I'm not saying, we're going to talk about all the mental disorders and all that, all the types of moods, or we're not getting into that today. Today, we're just going to talk about depression, and by the numerous topics, it's just going to be subtopics. What can cause it, what those things are. So, if you're interested, please stay. Maybe give a like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Maybe this stuff can be, a bit informational for you. But other than that, if you don't like the video, that's cool. Maybe this video just ain't for you or this type of content. But today, we're finna get down to business. So let's go. So earlier in the video, I asked, what is depression? According to Oxford Dictionary, and I got it right here, it's a medical condition in which people feel very sad, anxious, and without hope, and often have physical symptoms such as being unable to sleep or etc. It's not really a major list, but I do, however, have I guess you could say some minor symptoms or how you could tell you got depression. Scrolling further, I actually took note of I guess you could say a more extensive list of symptoms and what can cause depression. But I took that from psychiatry.org. So let's see. We got feeling sad, irritable, empty, or hopeless, losing interest or pleasure in activities you once enjoyed, a significant change in appetite, which is eating much less or more than usual, and or weight, like a notable loss or gain, sleeping a little too much or sleeping too little, decreased energy or increased tiredness or fatigue, increase in purposelessness, physical activity, or slowed movements or speech that are severe enough to be observable by others, feeling worthless or excessively guilty, difficulty thinking or concentrating, forgetfulness, and or difficulty making minor decisions, and last but not least, thoughts of death, suicidal ideation, or suicide attempts. Okay, so now that we have a basic understanding of depression, let's go into something a little bit more in depth. And I don't want to keep sitting here and acting like, I'm not reading from, some articles online or something. So we're going to talk about risk factors, 4 risk factors in time. We're going to talk about biochemical, genetic, environmental, and personality. I think the easiest one to talk about here is environmental. It's in the name. It's your environment. You could be pretty much subjected to abuse, neglect, maybe something around you or someone around you could be causing some sort of harm to, whether it's direct or indirect, and then they can basically cause you to be depressed. Another risk factor to knock out the way is personality. People that are particularly more pessimistic, have a negative view on life. People that are also with low self-esteem, maybe overwhelmed with stress, easily get anxious. And those are probably the 2 most common risk factors. Now let's talk about the other 2 that are often misunderstood or not explained enough. Another one is genetic. Now when it comes to genetic, depression can run through families. That just goes without saying. But what causes that is genes. Studies have identified numerous genes that can increase the risk of depression. One of them, serotonin transporter gene. The thing about these genes are, we already have stuff like this in us. They're just not activated. Now you're probably wondering, what activate those genes? Well, that's when genetics and environment go hand in hand. The people and world around you can make you more susceptible and accessible to these type of genes and cause them to activate. But also at the same time, if these genes were passed down to us or already in us genetically, that also helps us with avoiding stress or coping with stress in case you find yourself in these situations. And since I just broke down genetics and touched a little bit on environmental, let's talk about the last risk factor, which is biochemical. Biochemical is obviously the brain. I mean, you thought I was going to say some scientific words or something? Nah, it's just the brain. But, however, long story short, it's the chemicals of your brain, like serotonin, dopamine. You can either have too much or not enough, which very well could mess with your mood or how you feel, which also ties in with depression. So, now that we got the risk factors out of the way and kind of broke down or summarized a little bit of what depression is, you're probably wondering, Andre, how do you treat depression? Well, that's actually a video for another day. And I know this has been short and kind of rushed. So, this will be part one, of the Talk to Dre series. So, please like, leave a comment, subscribe, and we will further dive into this rabbit hole of what depression is, how to treat it, and what to do if you know someone that's depressed. Thank you, and have a nice day. Peace.